Good morning everyone and welcome to this webinar. Today I'm going to present the Blueback System Center and show you how it can be used for real-time monitoring of your Petrel network, performance, license utilization and user environments. Today I'm going to show a bit of background to the System Center and then focus on three main topics. So I'm going to show you firstly how System Center can be used for getting a live feed from your Petrel environment, just to quickly check for any operational issues during the day. I'm then going to move on to some more hardware and software specific issues, look at issues like machine types and models and hardware requirements, and then also software settings and installed software for each of the Petrel users. And finally, I'm going to look at the different options we have for monitoring license use, both live activity, history, and also by adding some link to active processes inside of Petrel. Just to mention, if you fancy seeing some more in detail about the System Center, a good forum for this will be our Tracker user group meeting happening in next week, in fact, in London. And here's a chance for you to meet the Tracker and System Center development team and discuss any future requirements that you have. After today's webinar, we'll upload the video to our media center, and here you can find old webinars and how-to videos on any of the Blueback products, including the Tracker and the System Center. Just to mention a bit about today's session, we're using GoToMeeting, so you can open and close your panel using the orange arrow. You can switch between window and full screen like so. By default, everyone is muted, so we'll make some time at the end to answer any questions. So please throw any questions you have into the dialog box, and I'll take a few minutes at the end to discuss them. And as I mentioned, we'll send a summary email out at the end with a link to the video. So just to give you a quick introduction to the System Center before I start my demo. The System Center is a tool for monitoring your Petrel environment and ideally improving the user experience in the long run. So the Blueback System Center allows Petrel owners and data managers to monitor and eventually optimize their Petrel environment based on the information we collect. This is done by collecting key information about the users, the machines, the Petrel sessions, license usage, etc., and sending them back to a central database. So the System Center captures really two types of information. We have a lot of static information about the machines and the hardware that people use that don't really change that much, but we also capture an element of real-time information, including the Petrel license checkouts and the active sessions, to allow you to more monitor your Petrel usage in a kind of day-to-day scenario. So just to give you a brief walkthrough of the System Center and its dashboard and application, I can firstly show the System Center viewer has a dashboard like so, which gives you a kind of a snapshot into the environment, including the current number of users, current open projects, the current license use for a specific feature, and also some operational indicators, which I will come back to in a few minutes. So it collects a lot of information, and some of the interesting things we can do with that information is maybe identify something which we call unsaved session. So we identify those Petrel startups with a really long idle time, and this helps us to indicate sessions that may be in use or may have crashed out or been held up by a user who's gone out of the office or something. So being able to identify sessions that have had a long idle time, for example, greater than 24 hours, we can always clean up those idle sessions in the environment. In the System Center, we can also identify the users that are using Petrel, and by tying together with information from Active Directory, we can identify their username and their full name and their department from Active Directory. So this helps us figure out really who are the people that are really using Petrel, and we can also quantify those departments which may have more usage than they should or less usage than they should, for example. As I mentioned, we also collect a certain number of what we call operational performance indicators. So these are some metrics which help you monitor your Petrel environment in the longer term. So the first of those is the Petrel exceptions. This is information collected from the log file and indicates the frequency of crashes or exceptions that Petrel throws. And the idea with this one is it allows you to monitor the stability of a specific upgrade or patch, or also the success of a deployment of a particular version or patch. Secondly, we have lost sessions. These are sessions which are not ended correctly due to a crash or closed through task manager. So this is an indicator for the stability of the sessions or indeed of the license server. Startup time, it's pretty self-explanatory, but this is used as a benchmark to allow Petrel to compare different versions of Petrel and see that it is indeed improving as time goes on. Next, we have hardware checks. So in the System Center viewer, we can view detailed information about each of the machines in our environment, and by using some of our predefined settings, we can compare those hardware with the requirements from Petrel, and we can flag any machines which may have insufficient hardware based on the requirements. Next, we have the license history, which is a set of graphs to show current and historic license use. Crucially, it also shows you who's using it, so you can use that information to really understand the peaks and the troughs in your license usage and why certain features get used quite a lot. In addition, as you know, with Petrel, checking out licenses can be sometimes misinterpreted. Maximum use is not always the best indicator of whether something is actually used properly or not. So we've also got around that by monitoring the active processes. So together with the license use overview, you should be able to build up a better picture of what gets checked out when you check out the licenses for Petrel, and then understand of those features that are checked out what really gets used more than other things. So now I'm going to show you how that ties together in a demo. So I have here my System Center viewer, which is a little desktop application, and I can show you that I'm connected to the Blueback System Center database on the network here, and I'm currently monitoring all the activity inside of the Blueback network. So if I just click refresh here, I can connect to the database and see my up-to-date information. So what we can see here is a dashboard of a summary of what's going on in the Petrel environment. So I see that I have some people opening and closing projects today with different versions of Petrel. I can also see the number of active users that I have here and who they are, and I can also see the projects which they have open currently. In addition, I've got the time since last session saved, which is an indicator of idle sessions, and I can see here that some users have been using Petrel for a couple of hours now and had very little activity, and I could ask them where they are. The dashboard also has the small graphs here to show you what's going on. So here I have the license usage today of a particular feature like Geoscience Core, and I can see when people started using it today. Then I also have some summary information on the number of sessions per week, and then, as I mentioned, we have the operational performance indicators in the Petrel exceptions, the lost sessions, and the startup time. Next, I'm going to show you the users panel here, which is a list of the users inside of Petrel and also connected with their information from Active Directory. So this view lets you QC who is really using Petrel the most, and what we can do here is we can drag and drop some of these columns like department, and I can see here how much different departments are really using Petrel. So I can see in this example here that my sales team are using Petrel a lot more than this G&G team here. Next, I want to show another thing which we record, which is the actions. So I'm going to have a look at a specific user. So in my case, I'm going to look at this user, which is myself and another user, and I can see that I have a list of activities that this user has done in the past period of time, and I can also filter this, for example, say for this week, and I can see what these users have been doing this week in the Petrel environment. So they've been using some different projects this week. Next, I'm going to move on to the hardware and software, and I'm going to start by showing you the Machines tab. So in this tab here, I have all the machines that are in my network and a lot of information about the type of machine, the graphics card, the processors, etc. Again, I can show that we can drag and drop these columns here, and for example, I can group by model, and I can find the number of machines per model, like so. And then I also want to show that we can, in our settings here, choose a particular version of Petrel, in this case the 2013 minimum requirements, and I can press OK, and then I can flag any of the machines which don't meet the minimum requirements for Petrel. So I can see here that my machine, the Blueback 10, may not have sufficient graphics for the kind of work that I'm doing in Petrel. Next, here I'm going to show that the Machines tab also includes a column for license server. So a typical reason for slow startup time for Petrel may be poor choice or poor configuration of license server. So in here I can make a quick QC of the license server settings and identify any people which may be making a bad choice there. Next, I'm going to show some of the software information that we capture. So the first thing I can do is move into the Petrel tab, and in this case I want to take a closer look at what's on my own machine. So I'm going to choose my Blueback 10, and then firstly I get a quick list of the installed versions of Petrel on Blueback 10 and when they were last used to make sure there's some current activity. Then again I can move into the Plugins tab, and same thing again, I can sort by machines and I can check on my Blueback 10 machine which plugins I have and which relate to the certain versions of Petrel. So I can see that for Petrel 2013 I have a list of plugins, and for Petrel 2012 I have a slightly different versions of the plugins. So this can be used as a good way of version controlling plugins across your different systems. The final thing I want to show from the hardware and software domain is the Petrel exceptions. And again, I'm going to look at my own machine, the Blueback 10, and I can see that in the last few days I've had a lot of out-of-memory exceptions, and I can click here and see the message. So I can confirm that I've been having some memory limitation issues on my machine. And if I come back again to this Machines tab, and again if I look at my Blueback 10, I can verify that in fact I may really have some insufficient memory here for the kind of heavy seismic activities that I've been doing. The final part of the System Center I want to show today is the license overview. And here is a view showing three different summaries of different license information. So the first thing we can get is the table of feature use. So we can, for example, filter by a specific features here, like let's say facies modeling, and then we can look into the specific use of facies modeling, and again sort, for example, by user or department to see where the most is being used. So if I wanted to do a kind of detailed analysis of the usage of some particular license features, I could use this table. If I wanted a more generalized summary on maximum usage of a particular feature, I can use this license history graph here. So again, I could look up that specific feature and I could see where the peaks and troughs are in the usage of this feature. And finally, in the license usage, we also have a little sort of monthly report. So here you can see the last usage over time and collect information on specific features in a little summary graph like so. So finally, if you're interested in having a further look into the System Center, we of course offer free supported evaluations. So you can contact us on sales@bluebackreservoir.com for any more questions, and you can also find us on the Ocean Store. In addition, I mentioned Tracker user group meetings, so if you're interested to see some more System Center in action, I believe we'll have a small session on System Center during this meeting in London. And finally, if you want to have a quick review of today's session or share it with some colleagues, then you'll be able to find it tomorrow on the Blueback Media Center. So I'm now going to open up for some question and answers. So if you have any questions, please pop them into the panel and I will answer them. So I'll just leave a couple of minutes for questions now if you have any, but if not, just let me say thanks for joining and I hope to see you at the Tracker user group meeting in London. All right, we don't seem to have any more questions, so just thanks again everyone for joining and have a nice day.